Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. Got one notable piece of news here, plus a couple of other smaller bits. We'll get straight into the big piece of news, and that is that another book has been delayed. This time again. And it's Team Avatar Tales again. So, this book was, last we heard about this book, it was scheduled to be released in like early January. So it's now been delayed from January to March 6th. So that's the details on this. So it's only a 2-month delay, but it's a delay on top of all of the other delays that it's experienced. And the reason I think there's such a problem with this one in particular is because of what this book is. This is this anthology book. There's a bunch of different creators on board. And then half of it is reprints, because this is the book that's going to collect Rebound, Shells, and Sisters, which have already come out as Free Comic Book Day stories. So this book is meant to be 80 pages in total, take away about 8 or so for the credits pages and so on. There's only about 72 pages of content in this book. 33 or so of those pages is going to be the 3 books that we already had before. We've already had preview pages for this book as well. We've seen Jean Yang's story. So that leaves only about 40 or even less pages that we haven't seen yet. So it's the book, given that all of the Avatar books have been delayed to some degree, this is the one where like there's the least amount of like content, which to me is almost saying that like there's no issue with this on the content side of things. Like it's not a case of like the art isn't done, the writing isn't done, or potentially like the editing of the book together is done. It's just... It's confusing because it's happening to Avatar books a lot. I don't know if it's happening to all Dark Horse books, because I don't really read a lot of their other series. But with Avatar specifically, it's happening to basically every book. Is there a licensing problem? Are they trying to do some sort of thing where they like really plan out when the books actually come out? The problem with this one is that when this book was first announced, it was announced by Dark Horse. They like were the ones to like officially like announce this book themselves. It came from a blog post on the Dark Horse website, Dark Horse's official blog. This is where we got the like cover for Imbalance Part 1. We learned about Imbalance for the first time, the details of it, I suppose. And then along with that was this kind of surprise announcement, Team Avatar Tales as well. And let me read from that article, which came out in February this year. Avatar The Last Airbender Team Avatar Tales goes on sale September 5th, 2018. That was last week. If this book had stuck to its original schedule, it would have been out last week. And now it's delayed until March? What? Like, what's going on with this? It's crazy because, like, the book could have potentially been out last week if it stuck to its schedule. Now it's been delayed by 6 months? The book's not out for like 6 months from now? Something's up here. I'd love Dark Horse to just explain why. This is not just some sort of a thing where like, oh, you know, give them a few more weeks to like perfect the book or anything like that. 6 months? On a book that's basically been announced for 6 months? It's kind of like... And it's only like 40 or so pages? It's like, with so many different creators involved? What's the problem here? I don't know if everyone else is having the same reaction as me to this, but like this is just kind of complete over the top. It's a joke at this point, the release date stuff, and that at this point, can we ever trust an initial announcement date for an Avatar book ever again? I'd be shocked at this point if any of them stuck to the dates. And I don't know what's happening. So it's just all over the place. And then it doesn't even make sense if you try and like figure it out with like when all these other books are coming out, because like why would they want to move it from January? Like, okay, like I don't think there's any other Avatar book scheduled for January or any other Avatar merchandise. The closest thing to it is that Imbalance is now scheduled for like December. So Imbalance Part 1 is out in December. So are they moving it from January because it's too close? Or what? But then the question obviously is that, like, wait, if you move this book to early March 6th, then it's actually really close to like Imbalance Part 2, and also the Turf Wars Library Edition. Turf Wars Library Edition is like February, end of February, and then the Imbalance Part 2 is let me remember this date. Imbalance Part 2 is March 26th, I believe, right now. So it's still the same sort of idea of like, it's still fairly close to a lot of other books, but it's just later for some reason. So I don't really know what the idea here is. It's either you go from December and then you have to wait until like late February for a bunch of books to then come out over the course of a few weeks, or you do December, then January, then end of February, then March. That works much better for me. That way you have a more consistent line of releases rather than over the course of a couple of months, rather than, as is often tended to be the case, where they just, all the books come out in the space of a few weeks, where it's like, here's a $40 book, a hardcover, plus this, and you're just like, oh, there's all my money gone on Avatar books, kind of type thing. So no clue what they're doing there. So let's get into the other news. We have some covers for the Insight Editions journals and notebooks. They haven't revealed the Avatar The Last Airbender journal cover yet, but they have revealed the Korra one. So you can see it here, only the front cover. So it's this kind of, obviously the hardcover, so this is kind of like, almost like etched into the hardcover. So it's going to be like, have a kind of embossed feel and stuff like that. So it's going to look, I think, in person quite nice, but all we have to go on right now is just the image. So blue is the main color, obviously with some slight variations to obviously get the image across. Korra and Asami on the front cover. From marketing reason, I suppose it makes sense. I'm a little bit kind of like, wait, this is like book 1 or book 3 Korra? And obviously it's an earlier Asami. To me, that's, I suppose it could be also book 1 or book 3 Asami as well. Whereas I'd associate their relationship more with book 4 and then the comics. So if that's what they're going for here, I feel they've maybe made the mistake of not quite having the exact design of each of the characters to get that across. If it's just that they've decided to have Korra and Asami on the front and then maybe like Mako and Bolin are on the back, that looks a little bit better. But if Mako and Bolin aren't on the back, it feels a bit weird to me, given that they're not committing to it being like full on, it's Korra Asami, that's what we're going for here, but they kind of are. So it kind of feels like they've half gone for something here, kind of half haven't. It's fine. I assume if you really like Korra Asami and like these images, this is exactly what you want. But for me, the more interesting thing is them revealing the covers for the notebook set. This is a set of 2 notebooks. These 2 together are cheaper than one of the hardcover journals, so that's an appealing thing in of itself. The Aang one I think is really nice. It's just Aang meditating, Avatar state. The black and white works really well for this one because the tattoos in the eyes make the glow come across really nicely. The Korra one, not so much. One, red is not really a colour I particularly associate with Korra, and just in terms of like thematically with the show and then what the colour scheme has tended to be. And then it's one of the most stock pieces of Korra art. I think I can actually show you the like original image of it here. This is like pre-Korra even coming out. This is on like the Nickelodeon like promo images website. You'd see this image in like every single like news post about Korra when details were coming out about it. To the point where like it's just so early. Like this is a book that's not coming out for 2019. Again, why is a notebook with just the covers to design basically taking so long? Not sure. But in 2019, you're using a piece of Korra art that's from before the show even came out. I don't get that at all. Do a book for Korra, something a little bit more updated than this. I think it's a really poor choice. In the same way that I criticized the initial Dark Horse line of merchandise for just using all the stock art of like the pro bending kind of stuff. No, this is a big no to me. Personally, I think the way I would have done it is probably Korra on the blue background, the same Aang image maybe on an orange background, just because, the color airbenders wear kind of the orange a little bit more. And those are the kind of colors I associate more with each of the characters. And then I would have used a more updated version of Korra, or just a nicer image than that one. Still, these books aren't out for a while. I assume over the next couple of weeks the Avatar 1 will be revealed, and I'm very interested to see what they do with that, and what color they go with. Given that they went with blue for the Korra journal, will they go for red for the Avatar journal? Given that they're seem to be going for red and blue, will they go for orange? I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting to see that. Right now, I'm definitely leaning more towards get the set of 2. It's cheaper. But if that Avatar journal looks quite nice, I could see myself picking that up as well. But yeah, that's all the news there is for today. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on the next in a line, I assume, of delays to Avatar books, with a crazy delay for Team Avatar Tales. And then what are your thoughts on these new images for these notebook collections? But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.